Hi, this is Jason Radford, and today I want to show you how to use the Collective Intelligence Task Batteries image memory game. So here I am in my test team. I'm going to go to the Add New Clone Experiment, and I'm going to name this, make it easy to find, JT Test, JT for Jason Test, image memory game. Let's call it image memory. CITB. So I select the template here. Everybody has access to this now. And add. Now I have my own copy of the image memory task. So I have all of the files for the task, same set of files as all of those CITB tasks, same set of variables, or well, actually these are slightly different variables. Every task has its own subset of variables. There's a tab for exporting data, for saving data, and then of course the demo tab so I can fiddle around with it and test it easily within my own sandbox here. So let's talk about the variables. There's chat channel matrix. So this is controlling who can talk to who in your study. So if you just keep it at all, there's going to be one chat room where everybody is able to talk to one another. Alternatively, you can set a chat network. So you determine which channels people can talk on. So in this case, player one is talking on channels 1 and 2. Player 2 is talking to player 1 on channel 1. And player 3 is talking to player 1 on channel 2. So you can define that however you want. It could be as big a network, small a network, complex a network, simple a network. Doesn't matter. As long as it fits this structure, it'll work. We're going to set the timers for this study. So the experiment itself, in this case, it lasts 30 seconds. I think image memory task is usually around 2 minutes. Usually all these tasks are 2 to 5 minutes. This is the amount of time people are spending on the instructions. Right now it's set to 10 seconds to make it easy to test. But we recommend 60 seconds or more to get people sort of acclimated to the instructions, give them time to look at things. Instructions are also the first time people load into the study, so if there's any kind of delay or issues getting oriented to the system, that's going to impact the instructions most directly. And lastly, how long you're going to show people the results. In this case, 10 seconds is usually fine. The reason everything is timed is so that every team has the same amount of time to do each step, so it's fair across teams. Next is the next experiment variable. So for the collective intelligence task battery, people are typically going from one task to the next to the next to the next. Next experiment is how you control that. I'll talk about how to use that in a separate video when I talk about chaining these all together. So look for that video, but just know that's what that variable means. For this image memory task, there are grid labels to help people talk through which images to flip and where previous images were. So if you say true, it'll show those labels. If not, it won't give people labels. The default is true because it is standard to have those labels to help facilitate communication. Show instructions is true or false. If it's false, we skip the instructions, and that can be useful for testing if you want to go straight into the experiment and fiddle with the way things work. You can set that to false and just skip the instructions. The last thing is use images. So there are two variations on the image memory task. There's an image version with images, and there's a text version where people have to remember where words are. If you set it to false, it'll use the words version. If you set it to true, it'll use the image version. Now that that's set, I'm just going to set this down to 10 seconds to make this quick. I'm going to launch a demo with one participant. So I have the instructions. All of these tasks have their own bespoke instructions. I found 0 pairs in the task. Let's see. I click, no match, click, no match. And I can go over here and chat. I found 0 pairs. The 4 clicks did do very well, again, of course. But that's just show you, very quickly how the image memory task works. Um, since it's a multi-person study, when I click something, it's also revealed on everybody else's system. When they click something, it's also revealed on my system. And there's an ordering process so that I can't click until the most recent one has been flipped over, or at least my click doesn't get registered until the most recent one gets flipped over. So there's an ordering process there. Okay, let me go through the files here. Still, we have the normal task battery structure here with one core HTML file. Let me just open it up and do it here. one core HTML file for all of the interface. There's an instructions section. Um, there's a results area, and then there's the actual experiment area. That's the way all of these are structured. Countdown.js controls all the clock timers. You shouldn't have to touch that. It's actually more of a utilities code base. The actual using those timers happens in template structure. Image sourcing is again sort of a utility file that if you wanted to upload new images, you just add the names here. Data collection. So this is the standard data collection uh, file. Every task battery task collects data a little bit differently. Some tasks have no incorrect answers. Some tasks do. Some tasks have the team score be an aggregate of individual scores, and sometimes team scores are net of a team's progress. So data collection does vary from task to task, but it has the same general structure. Really what you want to look for is these dictionaries here, which show you the data that's actually being saved for each participant, and then work your way back to the data that you want to try to either reuse within the study or reformat or change in a different way if you want to change the data that you're collecting. Or if you want to save new data, you want to make sure that that gets added here. Okay, instructions text. If you want to change the way this works, change the interface, whatever, you can update the instructions here. There's a core sort of set of instructions at the top there with the title. Emergency is not useful. I should remove that. There's a purpose, scoring, how to play. And then the series of images with text are handled this way. So if you wanted to upload a new image and new text, just add a new file name and desk lines at the end of this or in the middle of this, wherever it's supposed to go, and it'll automatically get pulled in. Memory game.js is this game-specific file here for managing the images, managing what flips when, what counts as a match. All that stuff is handled here. So it's a bit more built out than others because it's a pretty specific task, relatively complicated. Network chat is, again, this utility function for doing the setting up the chat system. Shouldn't have to touch it. Player text colors, don't have to touch. Seed random, don't have to touch. Template structure JS is the shared functions that all of the CITB tasks use. Every task, every task requires a little bit slightly different use of these templates. So this one needs an image handling task or an image handling function. The new move is written differently for a couple of different things. There's still a player disconnect handler kind of thing. So here's template structure. So countdown, instructions, memory game, CSS. If you're changing any of the look and feel stuff, it's there on the CSS. Okay, so that is image memory game. Let me go ahead and show you how to post this online. So I have my tutorial page here. Oh, sorry. You want to click this admin button. That opens up this page here. You'll just see your team. I see all of the teams. I'm going to add a category called test image memory. Testing my image memory right now. Call this hello. So now we have this new tile up. If I go over to the tutorial page, if I were to click this, it'll take me to this page. Tiles here, nothing's going to happen because there's no study assigned to it. So we're going to attach this. Oops. GT. There we go. So these are all of the experiments that I've ever created. Just add them here. And so now when I click that tile, it'll play this image memory task. Again, you can change the waiting time to be the amount of time that you wait. The participants have to wait until they get enough people to start. There's a separate video about creating waiting rooms. You don't have to worry about order because this is a sequence task. So in general, that's how you post this online. There are other videos for making this look good. changing what this says and how it looks. Again, configuring this tile. So anyway, thank you so much. I look forward to talking about the next task.